Helsing fans, I'm sure everyone knows. These are Paladin Anderson's bayonets. I did for a friend of mine. We did this huge group. And this was the first time my sister was enjoying this one that I did not get a prop as Scrowinger because I was busy making everyone else's props. So I was going to make his little TV set but didn't have time. Because I wanted to get one of those, those picture photo frames that have like 18 more for like $20. I was going to look up some, yeah, we don't really play on there. But again, balsa wood blade. They have all sorts of special tools for it. I find an X-Acto knife is your best friend. X-Acto knife and some sandpaper. That's all I did on this. And then I had a really cute idea for the coating on it because I was just going to paint it white because they're white. But this is actually vinyl reflective sign tape, like the same shit that's on the stop sign. So that way, if you take a picture of it with a flash on, it glows. I assure you it's hot. I think I have some pictures somewhere of our group from Anime Next and all the poses all of my poses of my friend doing Anderson, all the bayonet pictures, they glow. They're really hot. I was like, it came out cool. I'm happy with that. But again, other thing too, plushy stuff. Plushies, everyone loves the plushies. I haven't got a chance to draw a face on it. And I tried to make a bomb, but it failed miserably. It's just fleece cut out a general shape, sewed it on. The other thing I did too was, I did two of them. I just brought it one because I like this one better. Other thing that I've just gotten into semi that I absolutely love is resin. I like the Envirotex. It's a 2-part resin, so you mix like a cup of A, a cup of B. It's really simple that way. You can see on the back it's clear. I painted the base gold and then just glued the gem on the top. I used those plastic Christmas ornaments that come in half. I had put mold release in it, but it didn't want to come out. So I ended up using my friend's hammer and just smash the mold. It came out. But that's all that is. And then for all the rest of the gems, I found those little round paint trays that you get like 99 cents at Joann's. Michael's, AC Moore's, they all have it. I used those to cast all the small gems. They do have like gem molds. I bought it, and every time I would make up a bunch of these, or I didn't remember either. I should have done that. Anytime I had leftovers, I'd pour it in there. So now I've got like a bazillion gems and colors that I don't know if I'm ever going to need, but why not?
Shapes don't really work with anything.
Question with that resin, do you need a lot of aerated space to use it?
Not necessarily.
I mean for like fumes and stuff is what I mean.
It has a bit of a smell to it, but it's not like, oh my god, I'm going to like barf all over myself. It does get a little stinky. Also too, the other thing after you take it out of the mold, the Envirotex makes a product. It's an aerosol can. It should be, everyone's stores are differently set up. I mean, like mine, all the Envirotex stuff is in the wood department at AC Moore's. And right next to it is an aerosol can. It has a purple label. It's by Envirotex. But it's a clear coating. It's a clear coat. So all I do is, when I'm doing like gemstones, use the Envirotex, make it up. There's another one from Clear Crafting.
It's the resin coat.
Casting Crafts.
Right.
It's a 2-part as well. It's really good. The only problem is it's a lot more expensive than the Envirotex. But depending upon what you're doing, it might be worth it because I do find that the Casting Crafts doesn't get as bubbly as the Envirotex, which if you look at some of mine, there's a bunch of little air bubbles in it. Which, I mean, you can get rid of those by sitting there tapping the tray, and as the bubbles come up, pop it with a pin. But because I was busy with other things, I didn't have, 25, 30 minutes to sit there and tap a tray and pop it. But I mean, if you're doing, like, you're specifically doing certain gems.
Hey, you know that for resin, when you're working with resin, if you smoke, if you know with cigarette smoke, you just put smoke in it, all the bubbles come out.
Okay, I did not know that.
Because you're applying heat, you could do the same with a blowtorch. You need to be careful you don't set it on
Ooh,
fire.
blowtorch.
I can't, I haven't been able to try that one as I usually do my casting in the kitchen. It's a fairly big spot, but I really haven't had a huge problem with fumes from it. But
Making props?
Q&A type of deal. It's a Q&A type of thing.
What?
A Q&A.
Oh, but question and answer stuff. Huh.
So,
Can we take it?
I do smoke, but I'm not allowed to smoke in the house. My mother doesn't smoke. So I have not been able to try that one yet, but I might have to try that now because, like I said, it's, you know, if you let it sit for like 20 minutes, most of the bubbles will come up, and like I said, you just get a straight pin and you start to pop them or sort of like brush it through to the edges. You can get them to pop. Just because even like the casting craft stuff or even the Envirotech stuff, it's usually best to let it sit overnight. So if you're doing a lot of these, or like all the ones that are on the tiara, it's the same thing. It's just more of the little round ones, and they have it all comes clear, and they have a set of dyes that you can get. It's you know, primary color, so you can mix just about any color that you need out of that. Or they also do sell, Casting Crafts has a line of like individual dyes, because I will tell you this right now, green is close to impossible to create with these dyes. I came up with Coca-Cola, but not green. But they do have, it's like a little bottle, and it's the same thing, it's just, you know, a little bottle, you put a couple drops in there, and you get a really good green color, because I did Mokucon. I did rubies. I don't know. No, I didn't do one yet. I do have it. Oh, please tell me you have yours with you, Steve.
I took it out, sorry.
But again, it was, I made a blank with Sculpey clay. Sculpey clay is another really good thing to use for a lot of things, because I made Nico's Zelda before I made this, so I was like, I don't have to make jumpsuit. Sculpey clay. But again, it's just, you know, you get a general shape of the things that you need. Work it. Sculpey clay is really good for blending colors. Also, too, they have like lines of like metallic and shimmery ones. Like if you really look at it, you can see swirls of like different shades of blue and the pearl clay in it. And the same with like the other ones that are on it. I use that. And again, this is like I was saying before, styrene fun foam. That's all this is. It's a layer of the thin foamies with a layer of styrene over it, and I'm not the best freehand artist, but I try. All you do is just take, you know, before you paint it, you just take Sharpie, draw the designs for all the patterns that you want, and then just a steady hand with hot glue. Then they have ones that you can like push the glue stick through. So you can use that, or if you're really steady with the trigger, like I have two that I use. I have like a little mini one that only does low temp, which is, like I said, whenever you're working with the styrene, you want to use the low temp glue, because the high temp glue will melt it, because again, tomahawk. That was the first thing that I did with the styrene, and I was like, I'll use hot glue because I can get more glue out than I can low temp. From pushing it out, like, burned myself really bad. And the styrene gets like bumpy from like where it melted, and it really does conform to whatever shape it is that you know, you're wrapping it around, pushing it in, because you can do moldings with it too, like that. And like I said, it's just hot glue gun, hot glue details. All of this is all just styrene. I just, you know, I know a lot of people that do a lot of vector tracing on computers.
What?
But
What was that? What about craft?
I'm a little low tech and like to get my hands dirty, so I work overnight for the gas station. You have nothing better to do than mine. I just sit and I see what you're saying.